Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on how registration of design can add value to your startup. Today's webinar is 60 minutes long, and during the webinar, I request you to kindly mute your microphones. If you may have any questions, you can type them in the chat window, and my colleagues will address them. Today, we'll be talking about what is design, the life cycle of design, how is it advantageous to file a design, what can be registered, what cannot be registered, what is infringement of design, and how can you stop copycats from copying your design on e-commerce platforms and offline as well. I'll quickly introduce myself. I'm Aditi. I'm an IP lawyer and I have 4 years of experience in this field. Presently, I'm working with Stratjuris Law Partners as a senior associate. Stratjuris Law Partners is a DPIIT facilitator, and in that capacity, we have facilitated and helped almost 500 startups across India in filing their intellectual properties, including design. Now, what is design? Design is the first thing that attracts you to a product. When you go for shopping, if let's say you have to buy a bottle, so you will look at the different designs, and the one that appeals the most to you, you will buy that. If you look at the screen here, there are 5 different kettles here. They're all different images of kettles, but they differ from each other in terms of their design. So the design that you like the most, you will purchase that. As per design law, design is creation of new and novel features of shape, configuration, surface pattern, ornamentation, or composition of lines or colors. So here, if you look at the first image, it is a different shape of the kettle. In the second, the kettle has a different configuration. Third image has a different surface pattern. It is textured in nature. And in the fourth one, you can see that there is a design that is being made, an ornamentation that has been put on the kettle. And in the last one, there are some lines, composition of lines and colors which have been painted on it. So putting it in simple terms, design is the aesthetic feature of the product which can be solely judged from the eyes. The features that are created should be applied to an article by industrial mean. Industrial mean can be manual, mechanical, or chemical. So an example of chemical application would be if the kettle is powder coated. An example of industrial mean would be when when there is any engraving on the kettle, or let's say like in the previous slide we saw the texture that is done by that is done mechanically. Next, it can be in possible to gain some monetary benefits.
Aditi, we are losing you in between. So can you repeat this slide?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Okay. So design is the creation of features, as we discussed in the previous slide, and these features should be applied by industrial mean. This industrial mean can be manually or chemically or through some industrial application. So an example of chemical application would be powder coating your kettle, and you mechanical example would be when a kettle is engraved or surface or a texture is created on the kettle. It can be in 2D or 3D version. Design should have some commercial value. So when you create a design with the intention, you should have the intention to commercialize it and to gain maximum monetary benefits. The features should not be functional. So let's say if you create a spout in kettle which has the function of pouring beverage in through 2 spouts, then that aspect cannot be protected under design law. That will be protected under patent law. So the beauty of design is that you can have similar looking products, but you can make it unique if you create a new design. Design does not include trademark, property mark, or artistic mark. So basically, your brand's name, brand's image, or logo of your brand, or any label or any artistic work will be covered in trademark or copyright law. So the life cycle of design consists of these five main stages. Once your application is filed, it will go for examination. The If the objections raised in the examination are met with to the satisfaction of the examiner, then it will proceed for registration. If not, then the examiner will offer a hearing. And after the registration is done, it will be published in patent journal. So the entire process approximately takes 8 to 10 months, but the time period can vary from case to case. The first stage is filing. So let's take a hypothetical applicant named Kitty Private Limited, and their design is of a tumbler which has blue color. However, in my experience, I would suggest that you do not file your product in color and rather file it in this manner in without any color, because filing in black and white will protect your design across all colors. So before filing, we conduct a search and determine the class under which we should file our design. You can conduct the important thing is that it's not mandatory to conduct a search, but it is always a good idea if you conduct a search and determine and analyze whether there are any pre-existing designs which may be similar to your product or not. The first way of conducting a search is going to IP India's website, and the design search page looks something like this. And here is the drop down. You have these many options that you can choose from. So let's say if we choose name of article and type Tumblr here, it will take you to this page with all the results of the Tumblr designs that have been registered till now. So this will help you understand what are the already available designs and how are they different from yours, and whether your design is unique or not. Second, it will help you determine the class, because if you select any of the application, you can see that this particular tumbler has been registered in class 701, which is China, glassware, dishes, and other articles of a similar nature. So you can proceed with the filing of tumbler within the same class. The second way of determining your class and to see whether there are any existing designs are available or not is through Locarno classification. So Locarno classification is published on World Intellectual Property Office website, and it consists of 32 classes. So the page looks something like this. And here in the search box, when you type Tumblr, it will direct you to this page, which shows you the different classes under which Tumblr can be filed. And you can select the class which suits the most as per your design and the nature of your article. India was not a part of Locarno agreement initially, but the Indian design classification was based on Locarno classification only. The difference was that India did not adopt 32nd class, which is graphic symbols and logos, surface patterns and ornamentation. We had 31 classes and one miscellaneous class, that is 99. India has now, however, finally adopted Locarno classification, which and the 13th edition of it. So once we have conducted our search and determined the class in which we need to file, we need some documents. So the documents that are required are: one, power of authorization. So power of authorization would be required if you decide to file your design to record us as your agent on record. Second is DPIIT registration certificate. So when you file, you register as a startup under the Startup India scheme, you get a certificate. And while filing a design application with the design office, we have to submit an evidence showing that the entity is in fact a startup, and the only accepted evidence is the DPIIT registration certificate. The last is representation sheets. So the representation sheets is basically the heart and soul of your application, because it consists of novelty statement and disclaimers. Novelty statement would mean the element of your design that you're claiming, you're seeking the design for registration. And disclaimer would disclaim the elements of the article which you do not wish to register as design. And you need to submit different views. So the possible different views would be top, bottom, front, back, left, right, perspective, or isometric. Having said that, it is not mandatory that you submit all the views, but it is always a better idea to submit as many views as possible so that the examiner, while examining your application, can have a clarity as to what the design is. You can submit your views in two ways, either via drawings or photographs. So if you're submitting drawings, the lines that are made in the drawing should be made. They should have no broken, dotted, or shaded lines. And if you're submitting photographs, they should be clicked against white light or any light in isolation. So basically, any shadow or any light reflection that is falling on a product that should be eliminated. And lastly, there should be no written material like your logo or brand name or any direction of use that on the label of the product. Those things should not be there. So these are some examples of the views. Uh, the first line shows the different views like front, perspective, back in line drawing, and the second line shows the photographs. The next stage is examination and hearing. So usually within a month's time period, the examiner issues an examination report and they raise some objections. These objections are very basic because the examiner does not do a substantive examination, does not conduct a substantive examination. What that means is that the examiner would not always uh, do a novelty search and go and check whether the same design has been published or not, filed or not. So the objections, the object common objections that are raised are usually formal in nature. So the documents we've submitted online, we have to submit the physical documents. The other common objections that are raised are the examiner would want to understand what is the nature or the purpose of the product, and he may want you to submit some more views. And lastly, uh, to determine the correct class. So if he's asking for the nature or purpose, and if he understands that the nature and purpose is something different than the class that we have mentioned in the application, then accordingly we'll have to amend the class. The response to examination report has to be filed within 6 months from the filing date. And this time period can be extended by 3 months by submitting the prescribed fees. If the examiner is not convinced with our responses, he will issue an hearing letter. And usually these hearings are telephonic hearings only. And the objections raised therein are also very basic and can be easily met with. Once the hearing is done or the examination is done, the next step is the registration. Once the registration is done, you will receive a certificate of registration of design, and the period of registration is 10 years, which can be further renewed by 5 years. The date of registration is the same as date of filing. What that means is, let's say if you file an application today, that is 12 February 2021, and the certificate is issued on 20th December 2021. So your registration period will be counted from 12 February 2021 and not 20th December. The next step is publication. Once your registration is done, within a month's period, the application is published in the patent journal. And this patent journal is published on IP India's website every Friday. And the last part of the journal, that is part 3, consists of all the details of the designs that have been registered. It also consists of details regarding the designs that have been cancelled or have been assigned or have been restored. Once the registration is done and you decide to start commercializing your article, you should mark the article as shown here. That is, use these words registered or REGD dot or RD accompanied with registration number. So this is this will be very helpful in a scenario if you have to send a legal notice to someone to show that your product is has the design registered. Marking of the article will always be helpful. Now let's see what cannot be registered as a design. Something that is new, not new or original, will not be registered as a design. So a new design would mean a design that is distinguishable from the existing designs or existing combination of designs. And it should originate from the creator. It should not be copied from someone else. So if in a scenario it is being copied and it cannot be distinguished, then it will not be registered as a design. Second, as we discussed earlier also, if a product has any technical or functional aspect that cannot be protected under design law, and for that you must file a patent application. As per section 4 of design law, you cannot file an application if it was published prior to the filing date. If in any case, by any means it was in the eye of the public, let's say if you uploaded a video on YouTube, or if you um, published an published a blog about it, then it cannot be registered. However, as per practice, if your design is unique and has been published for some examination purpose or has been published in an exhibition organized by the government, in such cases you can file your application. Fourthly, it should not be contrary to public order or morality. And lastly, it should not be scandalous or should not have any obscene matter. So the filing fees for design, the government fees is 1000 INR per design per class. So the design rules have been amended last month only to introduce the definition of startup. What used to happen is that because the definition of startup was not included in the Design Act, so we had to file the application as a small entity, and as evidence, we used to submit the MSME registration certificate. However, now the startup definition has been introduced, and the fees has been revised to 1000 INR. And because you're a startup registered with the Startup India scheme, and we are the DPIIT facilitators, so you will not have to pay any professional fee. Basically, the government pays us to facilitate you. Design is a territorial right. What that means is that if your design is registered in India, it will be only protected in India. And if through your market analysis, you have an understanding or an inclination that your design can be copied in other countries by large scale, then you can narrow down the countries in which you think you must get protection for your design and accordingly file a design application in these countries. Second thing is that the time period for filing such an application is 6 months from the date of filing of the application in India, and this time period is usually non-extendable. What leads to infringement? So, infringement of design is known as piracy. Piracy would mean when somebody is trying to apply your registered design to the article, or create fraudulent or imitate your design and apply that to the article with the intention to import it or publish it on some forum or expose it without your permission, then that would be known as infringement of design. So if you look at the screen here, there are two images here. In this image, the entire article has been registered as a design. That means the lens and the rectangular frame has been registered. And in the second one, only the lens part has been registered as a design. So this in this case scenario, this design will not amount to infringement. Why? Because they have not copied your design in entirety, and design protects the whole article. In this case, has protected the whole article. So in this photo, you can see the lens has been copied, but the background, the frame, they have added some buttons, some new features. So this will not lead to infringement. However, in this case, since your lens is protected as a whole article, so when this has been copied and mounted in this design, this will lead to infringement. So the director of KP Private Limited has been browsing through different e-commerce platforms, and he notices that his registered design has been blatantly copied and people have not even made the effort to change the design in any manner whatsoever. So he thinks that now that his design is registered, can he stop the copycats from selling his design on e-commerce platforms? So the answer is yes. Today, with so everything is going digital, the e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Flipkart have the understanding and are keen to protect every seller's interest who have IP registration against infringers. So they do have IP infringement policies in place. For example, Amazon, you can report an infringement by filing an infringement form on Amazon. What you need to do is identify your infringers, gather as much information possible, for example, the name of your sellers, the images of the product, of the infringed product, and you also need to submit the ASIN. That means the Amazon standard identification number, or the URLs where the product is placed. That will help Amazon's team to understand what products have been, what are the infringed products and how do they look and who are the sellers. Apart from that, you need to submit your personal information. You should uh, give the description of your design and all the other details possible uh, to show that the infringers have infringed your product. Similarly, Flipkart has a Flipkart infringement verification process, wherein, as just like Amazon, you collect the data of your infringers, provide the URLs or the IDs where the products are placed, and provide your personal information, description, and details of your design. And along with that, you have to provide a statement that you are in fact the owner of the IP, and these infringers, you have not authorized these infringers from using your design. And after that, you can mail it to the Flipkart team. So here we'll see how you can navigate through the Amazon web page to file your infringement complaint. So this is the Amazon web page. Here you click the customer service tab. After that, you click the other topics and help sites under the browse help topics and select help for Amazon sellers. After that, you have to select under the heading policies, agreements and guidelines, program policies. So once you are on this page, you have to go under the title intellectual property and select Amazon anti-counterfeiting policy. So this will direct you to this page, and in the last line, you have to click on the notify us. Then on this page, you will see a page report the violation of selling policies. And here in the first point, you click on report the violation. So after just 1 second. So after you click on report violation, it will direct you to this login page. For filing your infringement, you have to have a Amazon Seller Central's login ID and password. Once that is done, you will be directed to this page. Here you will have to click on report a violation and click on this circle. Then it will direct you to this form. So finally, this is the form of your use, which is the allegation of infringement page. Here you have to mention what is your primary complaint, what is the nature of your complaint, and what is your brand name. All the additional information that you have gathered against your infringer, you have to share that. You have to also mention whether you are the right owner or you're the agent for the right owner, and you have to share all your personal details here. So once this form is submitted, the Amazon team usually takes 3 to 4 working days to resolve this issue. So this is a very good way of eliminating your infringers, because Amazon, Flipkart are the largest e-commerce platforms out there. So if you are successful in eliminating your infringers, that gives you a much higher competitive edge. Similarly, there are other platforms also who are working on their IP infringement policies or participate in IP infringement process. For example, if you find a product which is being infringed and being sold on government e-market portal, that is GEM, then you can send a legal notice or a cease and desist letter to to GEM copying the infringer. And how GEM participates is that they will send an email to the infringer saying that they have received a legal notice from the applicant and that you both should resolve this issue within 7 days. If it is not resolved, 7 days is not a standard time period. Any time period that they give, if you do not resolve your issue within this time period, then GEM will automatically block the infringer. So the other legal recourses that you can take to eliminate the infringers or copycats is send them a legal notice or a cease and desist letter, wherein you ask them to stop manufacturing your or copying your design. And if they have manufactured any design and they have some inventory, then they should destroy it. You can also seek injunction or damages by filing a civil suit. You can also file a design cancellation application if the infringer has filed for a design and if the design application has been filed. So as we mentioned that the examiner does not conduct a substantive examination, they do not always go back and see what are the existing designs. So it is highly possible that the same design sometimes is registered by the examiner. It is not always the case, but if such a case happens, then you can file a design cancellation application on the premise that your design was already published before them and that they have copied your design. So all these methods help you to end the game for all the copycats out there. Now, there are some misconceptions. A lot of people think that design patent is a singular concept in India. Design patent is a concept in US where design and patent can be filed together. However, in India, design and patent are two different concepts, and your design and patent are registered separately. So, let's say the kettle that had two spouts and the surface pattern. The surface pattern part will be protected under design and the spout part would be protected under the Patent Act. Lastly,
Aditi, just to interrupt here, there's one question from one of the participants that is there an international design application?
so international design application, like we have PCT and patent, there is no such international application. Each design application is filed individually in each country.
Okay, so if you want to file a design application in Japan and China and India, you have to file 3 applications, and there's no
Three
no
different
way you
applications.
file a single application, right?
No, no.
Okay, please carry on.
So the second misconception is that a lot of people confuse between trademark and design. So as we've already discussed that design does not protect your trademark. That means your brand name, brand logo will be protected under trademark law and not as a design. Now, why file a design? So after all that we've discussed, we understand that design is an exclusive right. Basically, design is a negative right which prevents others from copying or imitating your product. Your period of registration is for 15 years, and during this period, you can have a monopoly over your product and prevent others from copying. During this period, you can also license your design and commercialize your design as much as possible in exchange of royalty. So having a design increases the marketability of your product. So if I go to buy a bottle and I see a very unique design, then I would want to purchase the bottle which with the design that appeals the most to me. And let's say if there are two sellers for the same bottle, then I would choose the one which is maybe selling it for a lower price because they have copied it. So after registering your design, you can eliminate the copycats, which ensures that I go and purchase your product only. And because you have a design which is unique from others, so it will appeal to me as a customer. Lastly, it is of course cost effective. It is only 1000 INR. Filing a design application in India is the most simplest process. It is only 1000 INR, and also the entire process is not that difficult. The objections that are raised in the examination stage or the hearing stage are very basic in nature and can be easily met with.